Hey everyone, and welcome to Isms by Josie. Today I'm going to be teaching the basics of crochet. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in, and for my new viewers, please consider subscribing, share, hit that like button, leave a comment below, and click on that notification bell for future videos. So I have been getting a few comments, you guys, about how they are super beginners and do not know anything of crochet, or how they would love to learn crochet. Now, I'm not a teacher by any means. I am just someone that has been doing crochet as a hobby for quite some time. So there are just really three things you need to start crocheting. With the exception of instructions, you can find those online for free. You can get them on Amazon or your local stores, hobby stores. But I'm just going to show you the basics so that you can come up with any simple thing that you would want to make by just using the basics of crochet. So I do have my choice of yarn. There are different kinds: cotton, acrylic, wool, polyester. And they act as such when you are like doing laundry. So, you know, it's good to keep in mind the fabrics you use, because then you'll know how it will react, you know how it feels, you know how it'll be if you put it in the wash, if it shrinks or dulls out or gets the little beads over time. I have here some cotton yarn. I think it's good for cotton. 100% cotton yarn is good for making as pot holders or placemats or stuff like that. Any other fancier yarns, I mean, you could, but you're going to end up having to spend a little extra time cleaning it. Okay, so then what I have here also is a gauged crochet hook, and I have G. It comes in a letter or a number or both. This is a G, this is a 6, and then they also have the measurement size 4.25 millimeter. So if you have instructions that call for a G hook, then you'll be able to find a hook that has G or 6 or 4.25 millimeters. And I think, is this a boige? I don't know. I'm assuming this is the brand, but you can like Google Lens it or something. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is do the video. It's going to start with righty, and then it's going to end with lefty. So that's all in one video, and you can just, you know, rather than flipping through or knowing what video you need. This is kind of optional. It is very helpful, especially for beginners. It's a safety pin. This will mark off the last or stitch in your row or round or whatever. So, talking about placement of the hook, people like to hold it like this, you know, just jab it in there. I don't like that. It's a little aggressive to me. The stitching tends to be tighter if you hold it like this. I like to lay it on my palm, and I try to be light with it. It's like holding a pencil. You know, holding it too tight is just too makes it too uncomfortable over time. But having a loose grip on it won't tire out your joints. So there's a flat on here. If you don't have a flat, just find where on the hook it's comfortable. But I want to place my finger and my thumb right on that flat, and I'm going to hold it like this. I'm going to use my middle finger and these fingers as guides to kind of help lay it down. Otherwise, like, you know, this is kind of awkward. But to lay it down like on this, you'll feel comfortable. And I'll show you how to do lefty after this, just so that we're not flip-flopping back and forth. But this is how I would hold it. You have your yarn on this side. So feeding the yarn from the right, holding the, oh wow. As you may know, I am a lefty. So let's just start with lefty then. We'll do righty after. I'm sorry, you guys. So we'll do a beginner for lefties in the first half of this video, and then I'll do a righty beginner for the second half. Okay, so now that that's settled, I am holding my hook in my left hand, and I have my yarn on my right. I'm going to be feeding it from the right as I create my stitches from the left. So let's start with the basics. How to start this off. You need a chain on your hook to start anything. So what we're going to do is hold your yarn at the end, pinch it with your thumb, your ring and pinky, and then about 1 inch away you want to hold it with your index and your middle finger. Now what we're going to do is lay the hook perpendicular to the yarn. Okay, so just lay it perpendicular. You want to make a cross. So now you just want to go down, tilt the hook down, and we're going to go out and back around to make a little loop on this hook. As you see, we're forming a loop now, and I'll do that one more time. You just perpendicular, take the hook. It's like you're drawing a circle around the yarn, so down with the hook, out with the hook, and around with the hook, making a loop. Now that we have that, I'm going to pull the hook close to my pinched thumb and ring finger. I'm going to take my middle finger here and just hold that in place so that I can let go with my right hand. It's free. I'm going to grab some yarn here, and I'm going to wrap it around my finger a couple of times, because what we have to do now is we have to make a chain with this loop. And what I like to do is try to save, like, to minimize the amount of string that's left here at the bottom. So I'm going to pinch the very end of this yarn. I'm going to slide the hook even further down and then hold it with the middle finger. Okay, so I want to show you how to do a yarn over. A yarn over, abbreviated in YO in instructions, is basically putting this yarn over the hook. So just like that. That's all it is. Putting the yarn from the back to the front. And that's a yarn over. It's as easy as that. So now I want to take my thumb and my middle finger here. I want to pinch right where that intersection is with this end piece and the loop. Now that yarn over that we just made, we're going to pull it through this loop. That's why we're pinching it. So take the hook and pull it through that loop, and we've just pulled the yarn through that loop. Now we have to tighten it like a knot. What we're going to do is pinch the end piece with your thumb and your middle finger, and then we're going to take our thumb and index on this side and push that knot all the way down, tightening it up. You want to pull it tight or push it down tight towards your other thumb and middle finger. And once you hit a point where you can't go any further, then we're going to pull this excess piece out. So grab this side here, pinch it, grab this side and pinch it. We're going to pull this side. So pull it, tightening that knot just a little bit, not too tight, you don't have to go crazy. So now that we have it secure, grab the knot with your index and your thumb and gently slide it up close towards the hook. So now we have our first chain on our hook, and that's how you start it off. It slipped off, you can slip it back on, but you want to leave yourself some hook room so you can do that, you know. So that's how you start a chain onto your hook from scratch. The next thing we're going to do is teach you how to do chains. This you can practice. It's so much fun. When I was little, I would practice my chains and make it into bracelets. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to pinch the knot here with my thumb and my middle finger just to hold it in place. It'll be easier to create your chains if you hold this down. See, I'm moving it around here and it's not going to go anywhere. So I'm just gonna, to make a chain, CH is the universal abbreviation for chain in the instructions. So what you're gonna do is yarn over, and then we're gonna pull this through the loop. So take the hook and pull it through the loop, and we've created one chain. So let me describe the anatomy of this chain. So after we made it, you have two little loops. This is the front loop, this is the back loop, because how you're holding it, you see a profile, and this one's on top, this one's the bottom, so this is front, this is back. And then when you turn it sideways even more, you have this little hoop on the back. I'm going to call it the spine. I don't know what word they would call it. Back loop? Not really. I don't know. Let's just call it the spine. So we have that. So when you know you made the chain right, you should have the front and back loops with the spine. So I'm going to make another one, yarn over, pull through that loop, and now we have two, as you see here, front and back loops, two spines on the side there, 1, 2. Okay, let me show you one more time. Yarn over and pull through a loop. So now you see we have 3 chains here, front and back loops. Turn it to the side and you have 3 back spines here. Okay. So now what I said, when I was younger, I was practicing my chains. Ideally you want chains that are the same length, same tightness. And so when it's all uniform, it's going to look nice and pretty. So again, when I was younger, I would just sit there and make so many chains. Let's do 10 for fun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So once you've done a number, you can pull it a little tight and see how they look. You know, this one looks a little tight, this one looks a little loose, 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 loose. But for the most part, from here to here is uniform, and then it's different here. So like I said, you can study your chains and see where you think you need to kind of have more slack on your yarn or less slack on your yarn to make more uniform chains. So let's flip this upside down and you can see the spine of it. You have these humps in the middle. I like to work these instead of the front and back loops. But yeah, so you can just sit there and just, you know, and then when you don't want anymore, you just remove the hook and unravel it. But I'm going to do a couple more because I'm going to show you what I did when I was younger. So I'm going to do, like, I don't know, let's see what 10 more does. Let's make it 12 so that I can make 25, because right now there's 13 on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so I have 25 chains now, you guys. Now when I was practicing doing this, I was like, ooh, this is so fun. I can see it as actually a bracelet. So what I would do is just do different colors, and I would double up on the yarn sometimes. Instead of having a single strand of this one color, I'd find another color, wrap those together, and it would be a beautiful braid with 2 colors on it. And when I was done, I would take the end here, and I'm going to teach you a slip stitch right now. But you see this tail end with the yarn excess piece. Like I said, I like using the spine, not the front and back loops, because I like to keep the chain intact. So I would slip the hook into that spine of the first chain we made. Oops, hold on. To make sure that your yarn is ready to go. And towards the back of your project. But yeah, I'm going to stick the hook into that spine. I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull that through both of these loops on the hook like that, and I've made a simple bracelet. You know, it's a little it has to be big enough to slide on. Those were the ones that I was doing as a kid. As I got more advanced in a way, I would just make like a loop and put a button, and then you would just slip it on. But yeah, I would make little bracelets like these and I would sell it. Not saying that's legal in school, but I was hustling it ever since I was in elementary school. But anyway, so that's how you create chains. Okay. Now, before we move to the right hand, I want to teach you some more stitches you can do so you're not just making chains all day. I want to teach you how you can make this chain into a row. And I'm going to teach you, let's go with 3 different stitches. Okay. So this one I'm going to teach you the single crochet stitch. This is the stitch that I've been using for all my other videos. It seems like the basic stitch to use. So single crochet stitches are the simplest stitch, I think. So from this chain here, second from the hook, so we have 1, 2, if you can see that, 1, 2. Like I said, I don't like using the front and back loops on my stitching. If I can help it, I just want to use the spine ones, because you can tuck it in the back and still keep your chains looking nice and braidy. So second chain from hook, I'm going to stick the hook into the spine. So let me go closer. Here's the two chains. Flip it on its back, and I'm going to put the hook in the spine. Ooh, in the spine, just like that. Now, this is the start of a single crochet stitch. SC, universal abbreviation for single crochet stitch. We're going to yarn over. We're going to pull through that first loop like that. Now we have 2 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over again and pull through those 2 like that. So now we created our first single crochet stitch, which is this braid right here. Now let's do that again. Into the next stitch. Like I said, I don't use the front and back. You could use the front and back, and that's actually standard, so you can just stick it to the front loop here, but I'm just going to use the spine. So into the spine of the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now I have 2 single crochet stitches. I did this a little loose, you can tell, because that braid is looking very loose. Okay, let's do this again. Into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now I have 3 single crochet stitches. Now to practice, I've got my 25 chains on here. Let's do the remaining 22. Now, a way that you can do it to make sure you get 22 every time is, or 25 every time, is to count obviously your stitches. is, as a beginner, I would definitely recommend doing that. So I'm just going to do 22 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let me grab some more yarn here. 9. Try to remember your count. Okay. I like to put a lot. My aunt who taught me didn't like me doing that, but I did, so. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Why do I only have 21? I'm gonna have to backtrack and count, but I should have had 22. Here you can kind of tuck this end piece in, and I'll show you how to do that. You want to kind of catch it with the yarn over so that when you pull up a loop it kind of tucks it in, but I already saw it came out. It's very short. Okay, so I gotta find out if I have 25 or 24. I probably have 24 actually, because we used second chain from hook. The first chain makes the height, the second chain makes the stitch, so I should have 24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Yeah. So this was the second chain from hook, and this is the chain that we skipped from the hook. That was the first chain that we skipped. Okay. So the idea, you guys, is, let me just, if I held it like this. Okay, so we have a row of single crochet stitches. Now you can imagine making a nice rope to tie back your curtains or something, your napkins. So it's really, you can make your own things really. But I'm going to teach you how to make a second row, and in the second row we're going to teach you a little bigger stitch, a higher stitch called the half double crochet stitch. So once you get to the end of the line and you're doing a straight run of stitches in Crochet World, you have to just flip it over like that. So you're now going to see the back of those stitches you made. We are going to twist the hook so that you can still hold it with your left hand, but we're flipping the project so that we can start making the next row. So for a half double crochet stitch, you have to chain twice. So a single crochet takes one chain. That's why we did the second chain from hook, because that first chain is acting as the height. The second chain makes the stitch. Now for this second round, half double crochet stitch requires 2 chains. So I'm going to yarn over and do 1 chain, yarn over and do 2 chains, and this is going to be considered 1 half double crochet stitch. So you see how it's sitting on that first stitch from the first round. So when we put in our hook to make the next stitch, we don't put it in the first stitch that we have. We put in the second one, because this is technically the first stitch. So front and back loops, sometimes they'll tell you only one of them. They'll tell you the front or the back, but when you're just doing regular stitches, regular rows, we're going to do front and back loops, and that's going to hold the stitch better. It's more durable. So into the next stitch, put your hook in, right? Oh, I forget. Okay, so half double crochet stitch. We're going to start it by yarning over. That's how you start every half double crochet stitch, by yarning over. Then you're going to stick the hook into the next stitch like that. Then we're going to yarn over again and pull up a loop. So now we have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over again and pull through all 3. And that's a half double crochet stitch. Okay, so let's do this again. Yarn over, put your hook into front and back loops of the next stitch on the round below, at the row below. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. So now we have 3. I did air quotes. 3 because we did 2, but that first one with the chains is acting as the third one. So we have 3 half double crochet stitches. Let's show you one more time. Yarn over, front and back loops into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, and now we have 4 half double crochet stitches. So I'm just going to continue this all the way down, and we're going to take a look at it. You're going to see that the row is higher than the first row. But yeah, this is how you can practice your stitches. It's just like, you know, in elementary or grade school, grammar school, however you call it. And you learn how to do your lettering. They make you write it, each letter, over and over again until it looks nice. So I'm just going to keep doing this here. And then again, we should have the same number of stitches. So when we finish, we have to end up with 24 half double crochet stitches. Let me just grab more yarn here. I'm just going to wrap it up into my finger. Okay. I'm going to continue my half double crochet stitches. And you can take this time to practice yourself these stitches. I should have mentioned this earlier, but if you need me to speed up or slow down, if you click on the gear icon on your screen, you can change the playback speed. So go ahead and do that. You can make it faster, slower, and then obviously if you're more visual and you don't need to hear me speak, you could always click on the CC button, that's the closed caption button, and then lower the volume on your phone, and you can learn how to crochet that way. So I know sometimes hearing the repetitive stitch instructions just gets a little irritating. And I'm not offended by that. But yeah, I think we have 4 left. So I'm just going to finish up these last few stitches, and then we're going to take a look at it. And then over time your stitching is going to get become more consistent and uniform, and then your speed as well is going to get better. Okay, so you can always check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So, but you see the braiding, it's nice and even. And then this is the front, well, this is technically the back because we flipped it, but you can see that first row. I'm going to lay this down. From this bottom line, that first row is up to where I'm putting my hook, and then the second row is from where my hook is all the way to the edge. It's definitely higher. So now that you've done this, look how much prettier it is. You can make a wider bracelet, you can make a wrap for something, but yeah. So let's add another row, and I'm going to teach you guys how to do a double crochet stitch. And so single crochet and double crochet are the 2 stitches that I found to be the mostly used stitches in crochet. So how we did it before, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to flip, we're going to turn over the project so that now we have these braids, these chains on our right side. Now let me just show you this. Like I said, it's not really needed, but if you're a beginner and you get lost or you need to stop your project, it's a good marker to have. Okay, so for a double crochet stitch, we had 1 chain for the single crochet, we had 2 chains for the half double crochet, and then for this double crochet we're going to do 3 chains. So let's yarn over and do 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 chains, and just so that we can mark the top of this round, because this is, like we said, this is technically a stitch now, so we want to mark the first stitch that we made so we know where the last stitch is of our well, this is technically the first, but yeah, the first double crochet stitch in this row, and I'll show you why that's important after we finish this. Okay, to do a double crochet stitch, you guys, we're gonna yarn over like we did with the half double crochet. So into the next stitch, front and back loops that we have here, stick your hook in, and then we're going to yarn over, pull up a loop. So now that we have 3 loops on our hook, we're going to yarn over again. We're going to pull through just 2, not all of it, just 2. 1, 2. So we have 2 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through those remaining 2. 1, 2. So now we have our 2 double crochet stitches. And I know it looks funny, you know, there's a gap. Once we get this going, you're not going to even notice it. Right now you can, because we're just starting out. But anyway, so let's do another one. Another double crochet stitch. Yarn over. Okay, we're gonna put through the second the next stitch, front and back loops. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now we have 3 double crochet stitches. Let's do this again. Yarn over into the next stitch, front and back loops, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now we have 4 double crochet stitches. Now you guys, I am going to continue this all the way to the end like we did with the other rows, and then we're going to look at it and compare it to the other rows that we did. As you may gather, this is going to be a taller row than the last 2. So let's do that. Okay. So we're going to do the rest of the row with double crochet stitches. So again, you can speed up or slow down the playback with the gear button on the screen. And don't worry, over time you're going to start noticing that you are doing the stitches faster and more uniform. And if you are a beginner, start out with a lighter color, only because when you use darker yarns, it's really hard to see the stitching, and you don't want to accidentally put it somewhere that it doesn't belong like that, you know. You want to put it at the top of the stitches, front and back loops. We're just going to continue this all the way down. And again, you should have the same number of stitches that you did in the previous round or row. And out of these 3, my favorite is the half double crochet stitch. I like how it looks like in the end. My least favorite is the single crochet stitch, because there's a lot of reasons why. When you see single crochet stitch, it means you're going to take a longer time making what you're making, because it's not as, you know, as you see here, the row is not as tall as the other rows. So if you're trying to make depending on the size of the project, you're just going to be sitting there all day doing single crochet stitches. Okay. And then we have that last stitch with the 2 chains. Just have to stick the hook in the front and back loops of those chains. Oh no, I forgot to yarn over. Alright, take it out, yarn over, do it again. And that's where the safety pin comes in place, because sometimes the last stitch on the row is hard to see. So before I turn it over, let's hold this out. Look the differences of the height, you guys. So from this bottom line up to where the needle is, or the hook, is the height of the single crochet stitch. From where my hook is up to where these holes are is the height of the double crochet stitch, and then from my hook to the edge is where the double crochet stitches are. So you see, the single crochet stitch does make it look nice if you're making a nice solid flat whatever, because the stitching is so close to itself that there's not much see-through. And then obviously the double crochet stitch is ideal because you get that height, you can get it done faster, but you can see through the stitching. So now, if you can imagine doing rows and rows and rows like this, you can make a nice runner. If you go super crazy, make this very long, you can end up making a blanket. I never would do that because that would take such a long time for me, and I don't have that focus, you know. I honestly don't. So I'm going to show you just one more thing. We're going to do double crochet stitches, but I'm going to leave gaps in between. And just because I want to show you how this marker will help you find the last stitch. Because especially when it's just the chain ones, it's hard to find the front and back loops of that. So let's flip this over like we did. I'm going to get some yarn here. Okay, I'm just going to wrap this around my finger. I didn't realize this video is already 40 minutes. I feel like I might just have to split this up into 2 separate videos, one for lefties, one for righties. I think that's what I'm going to end up doing, because you know, for the lefties out there that don't need the righty, they can stop here, but then the poor righties that are waiting for righties to start, they'll have to watch all the way through. So I'll just make it a separate video. But anyway, I turned it over. Again, we're going to do double crochet stitch, so we need 3 chains. 1, 2, 3. Now in this instance you would need more than one of these safety pins so that you can stick it into that top stitch, but I'm going to finish here afterwards, so I won't put it in. But I'm going to yarn over and do a double crochet stitch, so into the next chain stitch, front and back loops, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Let's see, let's do 5. So we have 2 so far. Let's see. And I'm just randomly doing this. There's no rhyme or reason. Okay, so yarn over into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now we have 3. Let's do this 2 more times. Okay, so now we have our 5 double crochet stitches on here. Let's play around with this thing. Let's skip 2 of these, and in order to do that, I'm going to make 2 chains, 1, 2, because you want to take the place of the stitches you're not going to use. So we're going to yarn over. After we made 2 chains, we're going to skip 2 stitches. We're going to put the hook into that 3rd stitch, right? Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now we got a little hole in here, but on purpose. So let's do another double crochet stitch. Okay, so let's keep it even. Let's do 2 void, 2 stitches, 2 void, 2 stitches. So again, I'm going to skip 2. I'm going to chain 2 so that I can skip these 2, yarn over. I'm going to stick the hook into that 3rd stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now we have 2 holes. Let's yarn over and do another double crochet stitch. Okay, and we're just going to keep doing this. So 1, 2, skipping those 2 stitches into that 3rd one. again. So this is creating a pattern now, you guys. So if you can imagine, if you want to do a nice runner, or even like an airy blanket, like a throw blanket or something, you can put these voids in there so that it's not so, you know. I have 3 stitches left, so I'm just gonna do the remaining 3 stitches as double crochet stitches. So this, and we're getting up to that safety pin, you guys. I'm going to show you why that's important. So sometimes it's hard to find the front and back loops of that first stitch that we made with the chains, so you can just hold the safety pin. It'll open up that gap a little wider, so you can stick your hook, yarn over, stick your hook in there. Oop, front and back loops, right, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then we can just remove the safety pin after we don't need it anymore. So this is what it looks like with the voids. Now you can picture it being a longer distance. You can picture it using the half double crochet stitch, or picture it with this the single crochet stitch. You can picture it with a longer void. We did 2 here. You can do any number, you guys, any, and you can make it into any pattern. You can stagger it, so when we do the next round, you can put a full double crochet stitches here, chain 2, full double crochet stitches here, so we have voids that are kind of like checkered, but the combinations are endless. And this is why learning the basics of crocheting is so much fun, very rewarding, because something as relaxing, and you work on your motor skills, you keep your mind working, so it's very good as you get older. But you could end up making coasters, making runners for your table. You can end up making blankets. You can end up selling it. You can end up keeping it. You can end up passing it down, you know, as an heirloom. A lot of people I know make baby blankets, and that can be a keepsake. So this is why I like to do it. I hope that this video inspires you to at least try it, and then maybe make something for yourself. If you do, I would love to see it. You can either tag me on Instagram, or you can send me an email with your finished photos. My email address is in my about section on my channel. But I would love to see your work. And then if you have any more questions, comment below. If you have any requests, leave a comment below, or like I said, you can always email me if you don't want it to be all public or anything like that. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, you guys. This is Isms by Josie. Please share, like, and subscribe for future videos, and join me in the part 2. I'm going to do righties. I'm not going to leave you guys out. So I'll see you again next time. Thanks. Bye.